Well, I kind of saw us both in the picture, so let's hope we've got it.
I think
it's all right.
I think it's okay, mate.
I'll move my.
We're back. We're back.
Back.
Cheers.
Cheers. After 2 weeks of me working and you being ill,
Mate, I swear I've been ill for over a week as well now. I'm still not 100% right. Although, having had a sip of the wonderful Guinness, I'm already feeling 100 times better. Not that we're pandering to Guinness at all, but I mean that's the best I've felt all week, mate.
Yeah, same here actually. Yeah. Incredible. In fact, I was clinically dead, and then I took a sip of this, and I've come back to life.
I mean, you look a different man.
Amazing, isn't it?
Wonderful, wonderful.
So we've got 2 games to talk about.
Yes. Plus obviously all the thrilling Nations League action.
Yeah.
Said no one ever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I knew it's my dad's. He loves sports, and it's cricket, it's F1, it's whatever, rugby, football, whatever he can watch.
Yes.
So he can get on the television and watch it. And he was that bored that he rang me in the middle of the game and just said, "This is the most boring game I think I've ever watched." And eventually we decided, that's it, I've had enough. And we turned it off. And
entirely
and then
appropriate response.
2 minutes later, the second goal went in, and then the third goal went in, and then Finland scored. But I get Greece. I get that a little bit.
Kind of.
I
mean,
but Finland, half of Finland have day jobs.
Yeah,
they're not like a proper.
No, they're not.
They,
you wouldn't. The size of the country, you wouldn't. They shouldn't be a footballing nation that is able to compete with the big European teams. I'm saying that we're a big European team, but no, it's yeah.
There's only like 600 people in Finland.
Exactly. And
they've got to pick a 22-man squad.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not easy for them. But I thought,
in fairness, it probably makes the manager's job a little bit easier. Because he's just like, well, whoever's fit, do you know what I mean? It's just
exactly.
Whoever got.
Whereas England, who have the ideal opportunity to put a manager in place for a poxy tournament that no one cares about, but it gives them a chance to build the team that they want and play different players and play different.
Played 2 midfielders up front as he did against Greece. I did watch a bit. I didn't watch any of the Finland game. I watched a bit of the Greece game. 2 midfielders up front, 2 strikers on the bench. I'm thinking, Carsley doesn't want this fucking job, mate. He's actually
said it in an interview. He doesn't want it.
Yeah, he did.
So he has said there's better managers than him for the job, that he doesn't want to do it. So.
Well, it's Tuchel's the one who's been like mooted, hasn't he? There's been talks with Tuchel and
just
okay,
get part of the job and stop fucking about. Just give him a job.
You know that I'm with you on this one.
You don't have to pay him,
but you don't have
to pay him. You don't have to You don't have to pay him to leave a club. You don't have to do the normal England thing where they go to a club. They steal their manager, they pay them millions and millions and millions of pounds to do it, and then they last a year or 2, and then they get rid of them, and then that person, that manager is then paid a full wage for the next 5 years.
Generally what happens.
And then they they do exactly the same thing, and then they pay that manager that fails for another 5 years, and then they kind of panic. They go and get a panic. They go into panic mode. Yeah. Just give fucking Potter the job.
Stop messing about, lads. Yeah. Give it to Graham. Look, he's been brilliant on Match of the Day recently. I mean, what more do you want? You know, I'm with you, but
What more do I want? I want him to be on the Amex. That's what I want.
I've struggled, very much struggled to get excited by any of that. Just no. International break, it's nice. spend a bit of time with the family.
It's
I don't have to travel anywhere.
International, but all I do in international break is worry who's going to get injured. Now, I never used to, obviously, because we never really had that.
Did you see Carlos Baleba?
I know, got stretched off.
Stretch it off, but in the AFCON, you get stretched off if you've like dislodged a thumbnail. Do you know? They've got history for this, and people were going mental about it, going, "Oh no, he's out. He's going to be out for this." No, there was a shot that a lot of people didn't see where they cut away. They stretched him off the pitch. He got off the pitch, and then he literally sort of hopped off the stretcher as soon as he got over the touchline, virtually doing somersaults like he'd scored. It's like, and straight on the plane for the next game. So, yeah, they just take him off on the stretcher. I don't know why.
Yeah, it worried me.
It's just an AFCON thing.
Anyway, the point is that he is fit.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with him.
We haven't suffered any other injuries or anything. Ruta didn't travel with the under-21s to France. Obviously had a little niggle, something, so that was precautionary. But apparently he's been training all week, so
he had a little what?
Little niggle.
Oh,
I think they call
it. Like what? Like carrying his bags or something? I mean, you can't say that. I know it's a podcast, and we can sort of say what we want, but that's. But that was a bit.
Yeah, I think he's all right, and we've had no other significant problems.
It's a good start for the 2 weeks away. So, what games did we miss then?
Well, Chelsea. Obviously, the
Chelsea, which you went to.
I did go to. I did.
How's the stadium?
Same as it always is, to be honest. I mean, it's Stamford Bridge. It's never a place that I get excited to go to. Particularly, it's not known for its great atmosphere. Well, it was great atmosphere in our end, obviously, despite the result. But yeah, it was all right. It was a good day. I personally, okay, we lost. A lot was made of this. People were just banging on about the high line. That's cost us. It was individual errors. It was mistakes. A couple of the goals came when our defence was sat 5 yards in front of our own 18-yard box. That's not a high line. So it's like, I think everyone got a bit carried away about that. Chelsea were they broke efficiently, really good on the day. They've got quick players. Palmer's.
I've got a couple of people,
brilliant.
A couple of friends that have basically just said that neither team had any defence.
No,
and the difference in the two teams was Palmer.
The defence is willful. Yeah, it was Palmer. Palmer was the difference, and they made mistakes. Sanchez made mistakes. That was obviously glorious to see.
It was. But I was watching when we were watching it, obviously on was it televised?
Officially,
I can't remember.
Not officially.
I wasn't.
But you may have.
I wasn't watching it on the telly.
Unofficially.
I was watching
it.
I was listening to it. I haven't unofficially watched anything. I don't have anything to do with that kind of stuff. I pay my bills like a good little boy. No, it weren't that one then. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. But anyway,
yeah. I mean,
highlights. So match of the day. If it wasn't on the telly, I can't remember. But whatever I was watching of it, it looked to me like we could have been, and it said was it 4-0 by the 4 goals scored?
It was 4-2. All the goals in the first half, so it was 4-2 at half time, and which is pretty unheard of, and in a Premier League game.
But it looked to me
under 8's defending.
It looked to me like we could have been at least 7 down.
Oh, I mean, they got.
There was a couple over the top, and there was a couple of runs. Luckily, didn't have that kind of that sort of joy in the second half as much. But in the first half, from what I saw, it looked to me like they could have had.
Lot.
Yeah, it looked to me like like bad finishing or offside or just caught or
yeah.
But it was just constant. It was like what. Learn from it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And after the 5th time, you're thinking to yourself,
"It was.
Is this ever going to stop?"
It was a bit of a horror show.
But it was kind of ish the same up the other end. Yes, we're Brighton, and yes, we hate Cucurella. But on 2 occasions, Cucurella should have been sent off.
Oh, he should. Yeah,
he got yellow carded.
Yeah.
He pulled back last in the box, and that tackle was. If the first one was a yellow card, then that in the second half, that tackle was definitely.
It was.
And how can you pull someone back?
Refereeing.
And don't get me started with the refereeing, because if Man City can literally hold you by 2 arms and rip you down out of the way, and then them go, well, there wasn't enough.
Yeah, not enough in that.
Not enough in that. Yeah. So you're not going to say that we're not even going to look at VAR. We're going to go with what the ref said. I thought that was absolutely diabolical.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was bad.
And then you've got the game against West Ham, was it? Where he's last man and he's literally done. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah,
I can't remember who they were playing, but that was a couple of weeks ago. So putting him back like that, and that wasn't
again
just fucking unbelievable.
Massive inconsistency with the refs, and that's been the case all season. I still think the quality of English refereeing is
worse.
Is awful.
I was talking to my brother-in-law, and I was saying to my brother-in-law, it's almost like the refs have got so much stick over the last 2 years of people going, refereeing in England is shit, it cannot get any worse. And the referees have all got together and we'll show you. We'll show. Can't get any worse. We'll fucking show you boys our bad English referee. You think we can't be worse? We'll see. We'll soon see. And it is. It's just. VAR's got worse. Refereeing's got worse.
Yeah.
They've gone from one extreme last year where VAR picked apart every minute single little thing, to this year going, fuck it.
Yeah, we're a bother.
Ref says it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I know.
We won't even bother now. So you've gone from one case
to the other extreme.
There's literally no middle ground with English referees. They are shit.
I know. That's, I don't fully understand how they've evolved VAR. My understanding was that everything is checked, but then if it's checked, you're supposed to know. There's supposed to be something that says that it's checked.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, I don't even see that. It's not coming up as it's being checked. So if they're not showing you that it's being checked, then it's not being checked. I'm not.
Yeah, and out of all the shit that ever the one complaint, the biggest complaint last season was that when you're at the match, you can't see what's going on. They just put VAR check. And if they actually showed that, like they show it when you're watching Sky or whatever, or BT
and
or whatever, or TNT, and then there's some sort of check explanation going on. That was like everyone's real bugbear last season, and they still haven't sorted that. In fact, they just haven't.
No, they haven't. That's not improved. It's not improved at all.
So I thought that was the one thing that I took away from that, is that, and it doesn't matter how many times I've looked back over it. Cucurella should have got a red card.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people that saw that back were probably in agreement with it. Unfortunately, not the referee, but
he should have been sent off.
But at the end of the day, I think that game. I came out of Stamford Bridge, and I'm like, okay, we didn't really perform in the second half at all. We shored it up a bit. Webster made a couple of good interceptions, a couple of blocks on the line, but we didn't. Yeah, we didn't really deserve anything out of the game, because you can't defend like that, and you can't. And it was individual errors, it was lapses, it was people not being quite in line. It's that I feel like the system that we play, that's an evolving system, and people saying, we might not have the players, they might be too slow for that system. No, it's not, because it's not about speed. It's about staying in line. It's about being disciplined. Yeah, and I think it's going to take a bit of time, and we might leak a few goals playing that way. Yeah, like we did against Chelsea. We might have days like that, but we're going to score goals.
My son's convinced that we need a new centre back. He actually thinks that it should be someone to replace Dunk, because he thinks Dunk's just too old now, lost that pace. I don't think it's Dunk that needs to be replaced at all.
I think Dunk's coming towards the end of his career for sure.
I think
clever player, and he's still good on the ball.
For me, see you later, Webster. Van Heck, when he's fit, I keep saying he's one of the most underrated centre-backs in the Premier League.
Van Heck is first name on the team sheet almost nowadays.
And then I think there has to be, I don't know, I think there has got to be something change. There's got to be some change with the centre backs, and it can't be Van Heck. So as much as I love Dunk,
it's coming to an end.
It has to be Dunk. No, I don't think. I think he's not coming to the end of his career. I just think it's.
But he won't. He can't play every game.
No, he can't. Look, it's the way that we're playing now, and especially when we do play a high line. How do you expect him to get back? But then I can't say that because then all of a sudden he does something that's fucking spectacular, and there's no one on that team who can pick a pass out like Dunk.
Yeah, he passes like Glenn Hoddle something in his prime sometimes, and then I know that's not that's not the be all and end all for a centre back, but he's just so composed at times, and the way that he'll chest the ball back to the keeper or just knock it, and he's got that composure about him. But he's made Dunk's made mistakes. He's made a lot of mistakes, and he's been less pilloried for that in the last 2 seasons. A lot less pilloried than Webster, to be fair. I thought the reaction that Webster got on social media was. I thought Brighton fans were better than that. I was a bit disappointed about it. I'm like, come on, guys, come on, leave it out. You know what I mean?
Football fans, and then everyone gets the ump about stuff. And,
of course, but I mean,
and with everything now, what you never you used to have people that grumbled in the stands and in the pub, but now you've got keyboard warriors.
It's keyboard warriors. That's the problem.
And they'll just write whatever they want. They'll just write whatever they think is the most fucking aggressive thing to write. No one puts.
And it's pretty uncensored, isn't it? So.
Yeah, and the little sharp, nasty comments are the ones that get read. The comment I mean, I'm guilty of it. I go online and I go through comments, or when you go onto Facebook and someone's put like a little thing, and then I read that, and then I go in the comments and I love the comments. But if I've got to read any more, basically, it says "see more" at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh God! I press that and then it goes, and I go, I'm not even gonna read that.
Nah, forget it.
I'm flicking. I haven't got time for that. I'm flicking through social media, so I want to flick. I want to just go right. Well, I've got half an hour. I'll sit here and I'll go. Oh yeah, that's a good comment. That's it. Because we do this and
yes,
we do. We go to I've done a couple of weeks of interviews and stuff at the home games, which has come across really good. I think so anyway.
Yeah,
and we've had a good reception for those, so we're going to do lots more of those street interviews and things.
I wish you'd have managed to get the Spurs fan that you interviewed before the Spurs game.
I wish you'd
have been waiting outside the end drawing. I was like, you missed the trick there.
we got. What does he say? We've got enough talent to run you all over the park.
We've just got way more quality. We've got way more quality than you.
It's a shame that quality didn't come out at half time. So we're doing all these things. We're trying to sort of push our little brand. Lost myself now. Forgot where I was.
Well, I mean,
but yeah, but when you go on social media and I haven't, when you like me, I've got kids, I've got a wife, I've got a business. When I go on it, I haven't got time to sit and read.
No, you can't fully invest in it.
Sometimes you go like that and you go, see more, and then there's just like a few emojis, or the last 2 words of that sentence and a few emojis, and you go, okay, we've got time for this one. And then sometimes it's like
chapter and verse.
Yeah, and you go, fuck that, I'm not reading all that shit.
Yeah. Well, I think Webster went. Well, I think his account's back on now, but apparently he went off Twitter. The same thing happened with who's the Welsh lad who scored against us, Brennan Johnson.
Yeah.
Spurs fans were getting on his back, he's rubbish, he's not scoring, he's this, that. Then he's scored in the last 6-7 games, goal a game, every game. And but he did the same. He went, well, I'm not having it. I'm just coming off social media.
Yeah,
you
should do that.
And I think that's probably sensible on their part. Because why would you want to read loads of negative shit about yourself?
Who was it? And what game that I've heard is there was a player that got benched, and then he scored. and then his celebration was to go and find the bench, go to the nearest bench and sit on it and go. And I can't. If you know in these comments, I'll make a short at this bit, and you can put it in the comments who it was, because I'm sure I was listening to.
I like that.
I was listening to Talksport, and they were talking about it, laughing and joking about it. I think maybe it was. I don't know whether it was he scored in an international and he did it, or if he scored in the international and then he did it, or if he scored in the club, and I don't know. I can't remember what it was. I remember. But I thought that was because he got benched the week before. So I think it might be
Ollie Watkins did something in the Euros, not quite like that, but similar to that. So, because obviously he was coming off the bench, and he said he'd made a pact with all the lads that was on. Apparently, he had a really good relationship with Lewis Dunk, which you could see when he was celebrating his goal. And he said, if I score in this game, I'm going to you boys. And you saw him immediately. He scored that winner, didn't he, against the Dutch? And he just went full pelt, all the bench are off. I thought that was brilliant. That's because his point was, we're all in this. We can all make a difference. You can come on for 10 minutes and be the superstar, which he was in that game. And I thought that was quality for him.
Which just goes to show against Greece what a mistake it was. And then they did the same thing. Which, look, I love Kane. Right? I think Harry Kane is a fantastic player, and I think he scores goals wherever he goes.
Can't argue with his record, no.
You cannot argue with his record. But as at the moment, that England squad is not set up for him.
No, it's not.
It's not set up for him. If that England squad revolved around him, and him getting the ball to him for him to score goals, he'd score goals. But it's not.
No.
So, why against Greece did we not play him and Ollie Watkins, or just Ollie Watkins? And then against Finland, why again? It seems like the same thing in the Euros. We're playing Harry Kane. He's doing nothing, but he stays on the pitch the whole game. Change it, put Ollie Watkins on and see what he can do. Yeah. Because he keeps coming on and he keeps scoring goals. So fucking take him.
Yeah, no. Anyway. And you've got Solanke as well now, who's hit. Yeah. All right, he's not scoring hatfuls of Spurs, but he looks a bit more threatening. He's a bit more mobile. And I think Kane, you've got to use him sparingly. Probably in the same way down the line this season that Brighton used Dunk.
Yeah.
That he can't play every game, but he's got.
I'm not touching myself by talking about Solanke, and I'm going, oh yeah, I've got a hernia, and I'm just sort of.
Wasn't going to say anything, but
I've got a hernia, and I have to push it back in. It's sticking out, and I've got this little belt I have to put round it so I can go to work. And I haven't had it on today.
Fair dues.
And it's fucking hell. It's like part of your body just starts leaking out of you.
Popping out. I've never had one. I don't want one actually.
No, you don't want one.
No.
It doesn't. It's not painful, but it aches. It's like a constant. It's almost like a constant ache. But then I've been married for 18 years, so I'm used to that. So anyway, on from not such a great game against Chelsea. Next game, last game, home game, was against.
Who was it? Who was it again? Some team that keeps losing after they go 2-0 up. I can't remember who it is now. Is it? They've won loads of trophies? Have they won loads of trophies, or they've not won loads? No, they've really not.
They've really got there.
Definitely from North London. Yeah.
Be Spurs then. So on to that home game against Spurs. It really was a game of two halves, like they say.
Proper game of two halves.
It was. Brighton were definitely off the pace in the first half.
Yes, agreed. We were second best.
Second to everything. I mean, like not just. I mean, we were second.
We nearly conceded in the first minute. Didn't we? Really, there was a break and it went across. It wasn't quite the right ball. I think it was Johnson going in, and that was a warning. That was like in the first minute. You're like, fucking hell, they're at it straight away. And it just carried on like that, didn't it, really? And
I think with Toma, he sort of got down the left, fed a ball in, and Welbeck was sort of, again a little bit off the pace. We could have maybe got to that a bit quicker. That might have been a goal in the first half, but
he opened his body up a bit too much, didn't he? And sort of his
didn't quite get there.
It happens, but we had enough chances to score a couple of goals in that half. But then Spurs could have been 3 up.
It weren't a bad half for Brighton, but Spurs,
they were just
in the first
quicker to everything.
Were superb, quick. They were the first to every ball. Their passing was sharp. They were quick to pass through, especially in tight situations.
Yes.
They were getting out of them very quickly, and then sort of, and by the time then we've got our shape back, they're already, 2 players ahead.
Yeah, they looked a lot more.
That's what we had in the first half.
They looked a lot more dynamic than us in the first half, and there was just that little bit of extra
pace.
And
I thought definitely deserved the 2-goal lead.
Oh yeah, 100%. You couldn't really argue with it at half time. It was just, and along with a lot of other people in the stadium. Obviously you go down and have a beer at half time and a bit of a chat, and the mood, I would say, was not quite despair, but there was a lot of people. I got the sense that people were saying, this is big now. Like, this half's big for the manager, for the team. And
I do normally go down and grab a drink at half time, but I was excuse me. I was that I sit, obviously, because I go with my son. I sat with my son, and I'm saying, I don't know, and by the time we'd finished talking, it was like, oh shit,
you're too late.
Yeah, I'm going to get a drink now, and that never happens. So there was definitely something in the air, because we were saying that we're not that far off the pace. We just need to come out, and then apparently some of the older boys, some of the stronger-willed lads, went into the dressing room and kind of took over.
I heard that
the team talk and said, this is not about tactics. The tactics are working. You've got to fight for it. You're not fighting. That you've got to be that.
It was like the Milner and some of the senior players really getting involved. And that's great. I love that.
Saying that our tactics are right.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about the tactics.
Yeah.
You've got to fight.
Up it.
If you want it, you've got to fight for it.
An extra 5%. Yeah.
Boy, it was a combination. This is how it seemed, and it didn't take long to get that impression. It took maybe 5 to 10 minutes of the first half to get the impression that Brighton had taken that step up, that gear up,
properly taking it on,
and Spurs almost came out going, we've done you now, whatever.
Yeah.
We'd be all right. We've done them. We're 2-0 up now. They're going to get back from this.
They set off, and I don't think that was tactical, because that's just not the way they play. I just think it was a little bit
arrogant.
It was arrogant. It was like
that's sort of. It felt like.
Well, we've done it. We've done what we need to do.
It even felt that way from the Spurs fans. The Spurs fans. It was almost like, we don't even need to chant anymore. We'll just sit here.
Yeah.
We'll just sit back and relax. Have you seen the Spurs reaction on?
I've seen the guy that's on the video, that's cut. I've seen it.
And it shows him in the first half, and then it shows him in the second half.
It's like the caption is. I think a lot of people will have probably seen this. It's done the rounds on social media.
It's so funny.
But it says that basically. Being a Spurs fan summed up in one video, and it's only a short. It's only about a minute, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like this massive cocky elation of being 2-0 up, and then you've got him going.
Then it's with people leaving, seats just emptying around him,
watching the Brighton goals go in. He's like, it's brilliant.
Well, I work with a Spurs fan, Matt, but he's he always does say that if there's a team that he can take getting beaten by, then it's Brighton, because of his lives down this way. He's growing up down here.
Well,
He's a Spurs fan. He is a Spurs fan, and he does support Spurs, and he does not like Spurs. I'm not saying he likes Spurs losing, but he can sort of take it.
He'll take that one.
Yeah, he'll take that one.
I had my Spurs mate Mac with me, and I got him the seat. It was his birthday about I don't know 6 weeks ago, and I messaged him and I said, Mac, I said, I know you probably won't be able to get a ticket in the away end. I said, but do you want me to get you a ticket for your birthday? And he goes, yeah, go on, yeah. So I got him a ticket in the row in front of us, and he went, oh, that's a touch. Yeah. He said, right in the row in front. I said, yeah, that's because when we score, I'm going to fucking jump all over here. I bet we did it 3 times.
Was he giving you some when Spurs scored in the first half?
He was actually very well behaved. I instructed him to be on his best behaviour. I said, look, you got to sit on your hands, mate. You will get turfed out. So he was very well behaved. Even at the end when everyone's, la 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 la, he was having a little clap. He was very good spirited. And we went into town after the game, and we sloped off into the Caxton Arms, which is no one knows where it is today. So you just sort of slope off there. Yeah. And there was a few Brighton boys in there. Everyone had a few beers, and we ended up having a really bizarre. We played Connect 4 for about 3 hours with fuck knows, mate. With a couple of Brighton lads. Yeah. It turns out it's a far more strategic game than I gave credit for. I was laughing at them. I'm like, you're playing Connect 4, so I haven't played that since I was 8. But they fucking whipped our asses, mate.
I don't know if anyone knows of this club or has heard of this club, but it's a club in the Midlands, and it's called Sunday Central. And it's basically a hard hat. Well, it used to be anyway, but I don't know what it is now. But it was a promoter basically. They used to hire out a club, and it was called Sunday Central. And they did Sunday Central, After Central, and Sunday Central North, and they did all these sorts. It was like and then they had this club, it was a massive club. And it had all of these different main room, and then it had these different little rooms off of it. And then you used to be able to go right up the top, and in the top there was like a massive Jenga, and I mean like a fucking like the blocks were like that big.
Breeze blocks.
Yeah, massive, like big wooden Jenga blocks. And then it had a massive Connect 4, and there was huge bean bags everywhere. And it was basically for pillheads that were off their tits and wanted to just go and take a breather because they'd been fucking happy hardcore in it for like fucking 4 hours non-stop. Oh God, all sorts.
I bet the Connect 4 strategy in that room was far less intense than it was in the Caxton Arms. Because we got absolutely battered, mate. I mean, I thought I knew what I was doing, but...
but these were like, these Connect 4 pieces were like that big. They were like, like a big Frey Bentos pie. Do you remember those? Yeah. They were like that big. That's what the size was. Just put this big Connect 4 into the bottom, and we used to people that you've never met before, and you'd end up having like a group of people that side and a group of people this side, in this intense like. You go to put a piece in and someone would go, no! And they'd run across and stick their hand in front of it. Yeah. And you go, no, oh! And
but there.
They were on your team then. So they were thinking, I'm going to go down and get a drink with it. But now they were on your team then. And you must end up with about 6, 7 people on each side. And you thought, I just thought, I'm going up there for a breather. And you end up like, all of a sudden the lights come on and the music's off and it's like turfing out time. You're thinking, we've been up here for 2 hours playing Connect. The same game of Connect 4.
It can get quite intense. The lad who was really good, Dan, if you're watching, I did tell him about the Amex hour, so he might be. He was good, but he'd have this thing where you think you got it, and then you'd just catch a little smile on the corner, and you'd be like, I fucking know. And then he'd look at you and he'd go, wherever you go, you're fucked. Yeah. You'd be like, oh well, we might as well not bother. Dan.
Yeah,
it's one of those. But it was a funny night. It was a good night, and it was a nice finale to that day. Matt wasn't too downhearted by Spurs' collapse. I mean, he'd had quite a few beers, so
I mean, like I've got to say, I think anyway. It was the comeback of the season so far. Not the season. I think there's going to be bigger comebacks than that, especially when you get to the tail end of the season.
Where we are now,
But the moment where we are to go 2-0 down against Spurs, which Spurs might not agree, but Brighton are becoming one of those top half teams that could take points off of teams like Spurs and stop them getting into European football. We could, we're doing a good job this season, and I can only see it getting better as long as we don't get the injuries. But we've got more depth on the bench now, which we've proved over the last couple of games.
Massively, and we've still got players coming back from injuries. We've got a Riley long term, and I just think for the fact that we've had so many new players, and it's okay. We've sort of used them sparingly in a way, partly because of injuries, partly just tactically. But I think Hursla's managed it really well, and he's not afraid to make big calls either. So Kadioglu on, he'll be great. He'll be a great player. But it's early days. He's getting used to the league. His first half against Spurs, he was off the pace. He wasn't quite there. He was the one that was like that, dropping a bit too deep. And it wasn't working. And Hursla, at half time, a lot of people said, well, that's a weird change, a left back for a left back, but he should see that wasn't working, and he knows obviously Estupiñán and Matoma have got this kind of telepathic relationship. Brilliant. And my God, like Estupiñán, the last couple of games he's played, I thought he was not, he was off the pace. But my God, what a masterstroke of a substitution that was, because he was so good and dovetailed with Matoma perfectly, and it changed the game. It changed it led to the first goal.
I thought Veltman had a fantastic game. I thought he was good in the first half. I didn't think he was bad in the first half, but in the second half I thought he was absolutely superb.
Immense. And he tried to get Maddison sent off, which is really fun.
Yeah, and Veltman's another one that can have those off games, but when he's on form, he's on form. I mean, they were trying to bring everything down their right hand side because they know that down their left they couldn't get a breath because Veltman was on, and I thought he was superb.
Yeah, he was excellent. He was excellent, and he did his usual. He's becoming like the new Morpie, isn't he? In some ways, he likes to wind everyone up. He did the Spurs fans were saying afterwards it was embarrassing the way he went down, trying to get Maddison sent off. But I don't mind a bit of that, to be honest. Maddison's an absolute prick anyway. Did you notice after the game? Actually, I don't know who's in charge of the music at Brighton, but Maddison does his celebration with the darts. And obviously, he scored a goal. He shouldn't have scored it. Bar dropped, sort of fumbled it a little bit, bless him. But anyway, he does his dart celebration. After the final whistle, someone, not immediately, but as part of the after-game music, they put the darts music on.
I didn't even hear that.
What an absolute masterstroke. I thought that was brilliant. Yeah, just have a little another dig at Maddison there.
Yeah, I'm not overly keen on that. On the getting people sent off. If you draw a foul and you get fouled and you play up to the referee.
Yeah, I
don't know. I think if you draw, look, it's part of the game.
It's not something I'd coach kids.
You draw the foul, you get fouled. You get on. That's it.
Yeah.
It's when you've got people running up to so that's kind of, you've got to accept it a little bit because it's part of the game. What I don't like, and what I don't think is acceptable, and which I think that actually should be bookings for it, is when the players run up to the referee.
Oh, that
doing all this.
Yeah. Well, that is meant to be a bookable
pushing the
now.
referee
to
give a yellow or a red card. You should automatically get a yellow card for that. Fuck off.
That is
not
now.
A referee. You should
that
not
is
be
the
able
law now.
to, yeah.
But again, inconsistent. They don't do it. They don't do it.
You should not be able to influence the referee in any way, shape, or form.
No. And also, why would you be trying to? Oh, I know why, but it's not particularly nice to try and get a fellow professional sent off in that way, deliberately. So
look, at the end of the day, it's up to the referee. If you want to complain at the end of the game, this is another thing I don't agree with, is you're not allowed to complain about referees. I think that at the end of the game, you should be able to go up to the media when the media come and ask you questions, and you should be able to say, no, the referee balls that up.
Didn't agree with it,
I don't agree with that, he should have been sent off. You should even be able to say the referee was no good.
Yeah.
You should be able to give whatever comments about the referee and the VAR and whatever other officials after the game that you want.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Because it's bringing the game into disrepute.
Well, that's what they say. But then
you should be able to go, no, he's shit.
But the media are allowed to talk about the referee and say analyse his performance and wind everything back to super slow mo and go, that was rubbish. He should have. That wasn't good. So if they're allowed to do it, why it doesn't have any impact on them, does it? If you've just lost a game because the referee's got 2 or 3 big calls wrong, then of course you should be able to say it and without being penalised. There's a way of saying it.
Well,
obviously.
I mean, there's your choice.
Come out and call him
Well, I think that if you came, the trouble is with that. I mean, there is, like you said, there's a fine line in being insulting. You shouldn't be able to insult the referees, but you should be able to give your opinion and say that I don't think that referee, that decision from that referee, maybe the decision. But if you come out and go, that referee's shit, he's a cunt, then next time that you're playing a game and that referee's reffing you, he's gonna have some sort of feelings about that because you called him a shit referee and a cunt.
It's not going to do you any favours in the long term to do that. But you should be allowed to have an opinion and say, I didn't agree with that decision, or even coming out and saying about the inconsistency. And I've heard a few managers, without being penalised, have said that this season. They're saying, well, this foul in the first half, and that one's drawn a red card and one hasn't, and that's fair enough. I think that's
there's a lot about referees that like piss me off. That I just don't. I mean, linos get more stick because they're right in front of you, but there's a lot about referees that just fuck. No, I think English referees more than anything. I don't understand why English referees have got such a kind of like, I don't know, like they're almost like media wannabes. They're limelight wannabes. For some reason they seem to get off on making decisions that put them in the limelight.
That's sort of controversial. And I kind of agree with that.
That drives me nuts.
And unfortunately,
it drives my gears.
The referee that I felt did that more than any other in his career is now in charge of the referees, Mr. Webb.
Howard Webb.
He was always front and centre, wasn't he?
Yeah.
For that reason.
Howard Webb give 2 yellows in the Euros once.
Yes, I think he did. Yeah.
Is that Howard Webb?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
And he didn't send him off.
Yeah.
And then he got reminded that he'd given him a yellow, and then he had to go back to his book and then give him a red.
Yeah.
So he actually got 2.
Was that was in a final, wasn't it? Was it in a European final? I think it was.
I don't know.
It was certainly an important game.
Yeah, it was an important game.
And now he's in charge of all the refereeing in the United Kingdom. Oh, sorry, in England. The Premier League. It's a joke. Yeah, it's beyond a joke.
Yeah, it's madness. But then there's a lot that annoys me in life. I just have to get over it.
But yeah, I mean, Sunday was special, and we come out of that. If we'd have lost the game, and we could, if we hadn't have made that turnaround on Sunday, and we'd have lost the game heavily, the mood would have been, we've been found out. The highlight doesn't work.
It was so special.
This and that.
You bought a new jumper.
It was I bought this before that actually, but. But I mean, it's now an optimistic mood, isn't it? We're sixth in the table.
I'm loving it.
We've lost once. Newcastle on Saturday. Newcastle away Saturday.
You going to that one?
Yes.
Oh yeah. All the way up to me. I can't get a ticket.
Yeah. Well, I kind of messed up here. So, my mate Tony is who goes to a lot of away games with us. He's sort of like the train guru, and he introduced me to this thing called train split, where you book a ticket, but you have to change a couple of times, but you get a much better deal, right? Anyway, I did liaise with Tony about the Newcastle game because it's only me and him going, everyone else has gone, it's not going. I've somehow ended up on the 7:06 out of King's Cross. He's on the 8:37. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what went wrong there. Which means I've got to get the 5:29 from Haverty for something ridiculous. Like, I might as well not go to bed. And but I've got to change at Peterborough and then York, and he's got to do the same. So I'm supposed to remain on my allocated train. But I saw Tony after the Spurs game, and I said, mate, we realised that we've made a bit of a faux pas with the ticket. So I said, I'm just going to get off at Peterborough. I'll have an hour and a half at Peterborough. I'll have some breakfast.
And I'll meet you.
And I'll take my chances. I'll get on your train. And I'll just make up some bullshit story. Hopefully no one from the rail industry is watching. You know,
no one watches it.
Because it's a fucking long journey.
I won't worry about people getting yourself in trouble because people are watching this. No one fucking watches it. So I am going. And, we have one view each week, and that's me watching it back, so that I can do with the log and put it into shorts. But that's it. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. You can say what you want.
Love it.
I robbed an old lady the other day. She was, in all fairness, she made it difficult. You know,
she's still in his cupboard.
She was gripping hard on the bag. You know, I was pulling. You know, the strap broke. I fell over. She tried to run. She fell over. You know,
she fell over.
Yeah, and there's all my mates outside the pub laughing at me. It was a hard, you know. But I got the bitch's bag in the end.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah. I mean, end result.
See, no one's watching it. No one gives a fuck.
Well, John, would you like to hear what my source has told me this week?
Have we got this? Is it the same source as last time?
Well, I mean, I can't.
Is it a new source?
I can't reveal my source right now, but I have a source.
I'd like to know.
Yeah?
So we need like a little musical interlude for this bit, don't we?
We'll work on that. We're working it.
It's got to be something a bit more like newsy.
I think newsy is what we're looking for. Yeah, something dramatic. So,
go on then.
My source this week has told me that the ex-Liverpool playmaker Philippe Coutinho.
Yeah.
Remember Philippe Coutinho?
Yeah, I remember Coutinho.
He was Brazilian, very good.
Yeah.
Number 10 for Liverpool. The Liverpool fans used to call him the Little Magician. That was their nickname for him. Very good player. Obviously, left Liverpool a few years ago.
Liverpool, but he was Liverpool. So actually, where he's saying magician, what he's actually doing is just stealing things.
Little thief is what some other people called him.
It's stealing things.
But that was what they called him anyway. He then went on loan to Aston Villa, didn't he? He went on loan to Villa. Didn't quite work out for him at Villa because they improved. So he ended up going on loan.
Shag his cousin.
He ended up going on loan to Vasco da Gama, I think it was in Brazil. But anyway, it's not really worked out for him. Like the last stage of his career hasn't worked out. So my source has told me that he's taken his old Liverpool nickname to heart, and he's actually become a magician. He's become a magician, and he's filmed a show with Dynamo, I believe. Obviously, some of you may have heard of him. Very well-known magician. I think it's about to air on Channel 5, but so this is an exclusive. No one else knows about this. And on that show, his first act is that there's a guest on the show who's the former Scottish international, former Liverpool and Ipswich midfielder John Walk, who some of the older watchers may be familiar with. And Philippe turns John Walk into a penguin.
An actual penguin.
An actual penguin, yeah.
Probably play better than Coutinho at the moment.
I mean,
penguin.
Yeah. So I'm not sure when it's showing. Apparently, Channel 5. Look out for it. Gold dust.
Coutinho makes who into a penguin?
John Walk.
Because you can't if he's a penguin. He can waddle. That's actually they're going to change his name to John Waddle.
Waddle.
That's official. You heard it here first. Like always, I'm sorry, but I can't accept it unless you reveal your sauce.
Okay, right, John. I'm going to reveal my sauce right now, and that is Blue Dragon fish sauce.
Blue Dragon fish sauce. Do you know what as well? You won't believe
Don't
this.
tell me you've never had it.
No, you won't believe this. I have had Blue Dragon fish sauce. My missus uses it to cook with. And we were in Asda. I think it was Asda. We got a shop delivered and they sent something else because they didn't have it. So now I can go home. She said to me, can you pick up some fish sauce?
Can you pick up some fish? I mean, what are the chances?
What are the chances of that?
What are the chances?
So yet again this week I shall be taking that home.
Absolutely lucked out.
I've lucked out that I've been supplied with yet another good sauce. And it's Blue Dragon fish sauce. So I think that's a top sauce.
It's a result.
It goes in something, but I can't remember what it was. Beef, something or other. Chili beef. I'm pretty sure it's. Oh, that might be oyster sauce. Is that the same thing?
No.
Is that the same thing?
I feel like it might.
Is oyster sauce and fish sauce the same thing?
Yeah.
But anyway,
answers on a postcard or somewhere. I've got no idea. I'm not a woman.
I'm not. I know. A woman or a chef.
I'm not an aficionado of fish sauce, but
No.
But it just happens to be this week's sauce. So
It is.
It's what it is.
It's good sauce. It's because I don't even need to try this one. I know this one's a good sauce. I know. Keep it going. Keep it going. On that, I've got a complaint.
Go on then.
And it's nothing to do with football, actually. It's just kind of to do with me getting to football. And I don't know why it's irritating me so much, but it's fucking irritating me. And I don't know whether this is in every vehicle or whether it's just my vehicle. So I've recently got myself an MG HS automatic. Right? It's a nice little car, standardish. Drives you backwards and forwards. It's nothing amazing. It's a nice car, right? And I've noticed it in other cars, and I don't know if there's a reason for it, but it's really starting to fucking grind my gears.
You haven't got gears though, it's an automatic.
It's an automatic. So, this is my automatic, right? And I want to go forwards. So what do I have to do? I have to move that backwards. To go forwards. And then I want to reverse.
Have they got that wrong?
If I want to reverse, what I've got to do is I've got to move that forwards into reverse.
That's the least
or
intuitive.
you have to move it backwards into drive. Why isn't it go forwards, back, reverse? Why?
I reckon they just ride it back to front. I mean, surely.
I've had it in other cars. What's the fucking point?
I can see why that would annoy you. That's ridiculous.
It does annoy me.
It's ridiculous.
It doesn't. It's not like I forget. Like I know how to drive the car. I go there, and there's a big R there, and it goes red when you put it in reverse, and there's a drive thing, and you put it in. But I just don't. It just as soon as I get in the car and I have to put it into drive, and now I'm just thinking of that the whole journey. I'm like, what's the fucking point? Why? There's got to be a reason for it. If there isn't a reason for it, if it's not some way that it has to go that way because it's an easy way to send a signal to the gearbox or whatever. But if it's not that reason, if it's just because they've gone, that's the way we're going to make it.
We'll just be a bit quirky.
That does my fucking
We'll just be a bit quirky here and we'll make it the other way around.
Yeah, but why? Why do that? Why then I've got to think about it?
Yeah, that is a bit annoying.
It's like on my Range Rover. Well, I had a Range Rover before, and that's actually the reason why I've got an MG now, because the Range Rover took so much of my money I could only afford an MG. So I had a Range Rover before, and the Range Rover, I can't remember if that was the same thing, but what the Range Rover did to annoy me is when I changed the music volume, I like it to be on an even number. Right? I like it to be on an even number.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm going with it.
Yeah, on the Range Rover it doesn't show numbers, it just turns it up and down.
Oh, so you say.
So how am I supposed to know what number it is?
You're in the dark.
I'm in the dark. How am I supposed to know?
You'd have to do it purely by ear, Pat.
Right, Pat.
Purely by ear, mate. Yeah, no, see, I've got an automatic car. It's a Kia, and it's a little dial, so it's quite easy. But my van was trying to work.
You went for
my
the
van was
7 year
trying to
warranty.
work.
You went for the
Yeah,
7
of course I did.
Yeah, I went the other way. I went MG for the 7 year warranty.
Yeah, 7 years. But I've got a full Transit Connect van, and I drive that to work. And sometimes I forget that I'm in it, and I'm going up to a roundabout, and I just fucking coast up to it and stall the fucking thing.
All right,
it's
down there.
Doing what?
It's recording.
Oh yeah, it's very finely. It's very finely balanced, Pat. I can tell you.
And that's for the camera, so it clicks in, and I forgot to put the.
That microphone in the office, is that broken? In the toilet?
Probably. Is it a blue one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't throw it, but.
Yeah, I've got a little cordless one now. Little Bluetooth one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go on then. Right, well, there he is.
So,
The poker here, so I guess that's how.
oh, they all turned up.
Yeah, this is them not there.
Brilliant. Send him over. Send him over
Send him over. Tell him to come and sit with us.
He appears to have declined our invitation.
Yeah, I'm not fucking surprised. Like Tottenham declined the invitation to carry on playing football in the second half. Well, we're going to go and get another Guinness.
Yes. One of those bad boys.
One of those. Which is, I've got a hernia, but after 2 Guinnesses,
it's gone. It's gone. I know.
But the feeling of it definitely disappears.
I started this podcast with pneumonia, and have you heard me cough?
No, not after 1 Guinness.
No. So
see what Guinness does with us. Yeah?
Cheers.
Cheers. I was going to say a joke then, but it's a bad joke, and Guinness definitely won't pick us up. Yeah. I'll turn off the camera and I'll just talk, and then that was it. But yeah.
Well, we'll see you all after the Newcastle.
In the old days, they used to have leeches. If you got ill, they put leeches on you. But you don't need that now. All you need is Guinness. Actually had a car accident the other day, and I severed all the tendons in the back of my knee. Right, and then had a couple of cans of Guinness, and look at that. Look at the bend in that, eh?
It's pretty.
I'm gonna beat that.
It's pretty good. It's pretty. Actually, to come to think of it, he did text me on Wednesday saying he was in a coma. Actually, no, someone else texted me on his. Yeah.
No, I did text you. That was, someone had given me Guinness intravenously, and I was able to text in my coma. That's how fucking good Guinness is. That's how good Guinness is. In fact, pour a pint into your petrol tank because it's like nitrous. Obviously, that's a joke. Don't pour Guinness into your petrol tank.
Never do that.
Ever. But definitely pour it down your throat. Right, I'm going anyway. I'm talking bollocks. You know, if you start talking this much bollocks, it's over.
Yeah, right.
We're going to go and get a couple of pints. We got